But capitalism began first as a kind of experiment.
Right.
And that the guy who wrote the book, um, the Wealth of Nation, um, I forgot his name.
Is it a new book?
No, he lived around 1740, like something like that, 1760.
Adam Smith?
Yeah, Adam Smith. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah,
that's the guy.
oh.
Yeah,
So this was written in 1776.
yeah. Right, right.
Wow. He's from
So that,
Scotland.
oh yeah. So that was I mean, his book inspired many politicians, the people in the upper class, and
Right.
then they kind of did this experiment based
Right.
on his theory.
Right.
Yeah, and it really
Wow.
worked. Yeah.
Right. 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 Yeah, that's it's scary when you think about, because like you said, that sometimes it may seem like people, it dawned on people that, oh wait, this is kind of evil, we should translate into something else. But what you are affirming is that they didn't transfer into something else because the
Mhm.
it dawned on them that it was evil. They're doing it as an experiment to see what has a better monetary gain. And that's scary
Yeah, yeah,
when you
yeah.
look at it that way. So,
Right. Yeah. So
and
you talked a lot about the hard working, the
mhm,
principle.
mhm,
Uh, so that I can say in a way that that's what communists value.
right,
The common labor workers,
right,
they
right,
value hard working the most. And
mhm,
most people that I met, even my parents, even
mhm,
myself, valued hard working the most. But
mhm,
what was missing in Karl Marx theory? Because also he valued the hardworking and labor the most. So as you can see from the flag, it represents the miners and the farmers, miners and
right,
farmers. It's
right,
crossed, right?
mhm, mhm,
So he said in his theory, labor is something produces actual value for the society. But
right,
those owners of the factories, corporations, simply don't produce any value, and they take advantage of it, and
right,
then they take other people's value away, without adding the labor value. Simply, they are not working.
right,
From
right,
his perspective, he saw it that way. And a
right,
lot of
right.
people today see that way as well.
Sure, sure,
Yeah. So that's exactly the same as how Karl Marx, the communist, the original communist guy saw it. Um, but what's missing there is that when you think about creating a company, let's say you have a business model and you have a business plan, and that requires 100 people working 8 hours a day, and then your company produce value of, let's say, 1 million with 100 people. But then there's another guy uh, who can have just two guys and can produce value of, I mean, as much as 3 million or 10 million with just three guys. And you need 100 people to produce a $1 million value. Like, then I mean, equally hardworking on both sides.
mhm,
And so I mean, in which society you want to live in, that the leader requires 100 people working hard and producing $1 million value, or the country that has a leader who needs just two more guys, so three guys working together and making like $10 million value.
Well, it depends. If you're one of the two, then you can have a bigger portion
Yeah,
of the
exactly.
value.
Yeah,
But there's a very but that would have to
that
guarantee
society will
you.
be
But
no
that would be
that
but it sounds more
okay.
competitive.
It's only three people, but what if it's so many, like a million people? Then that society is going to flourish.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean that society will be so rich,
Yes.
and it's because of the guy who's gonna work with the three guys, and then producing $10 million value because of his business model, because of his idea, because of his strategy. This is possible, but
Right.
without his
Right.
strategy, this is never impossible.
Right.
So that's why America, when you look at the US, they value someone like Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg. All these people came up with a new idea and changed the game.
So you're saying that
Strategy
people,
over hardworking.
sure, but do people value them because they admire their strategic design, or do they value them because they introduced a lot of jobs into those industries for the wealth of the greater good?
Of course, they also introduced a lot of jobs as well, high-paying
Sure.
jobs.
Sure.
Yeah,
Right.
super
Right.
high-paying jobs, right?
Right. Right.
Um,
So they
yeah.
so when everything's considered, these people that you just cited, when all
Karl
things
Marx
considered,
simply didn't value those type of people who brings
well,
this
okay,
strategy.
but he wrote his book a couple hundred years ago, so it
Yeah.
would have been even more impoverished at that time. At that time, the people, the pillars like Zuckerberg and Gates and those people,
Uh-huh.
they would be distributing even less to the citizenry.
Society.
Right.
Okay, how that's
so of
possible?
course,
And then
well,
why Europe developed? I mean, it's impossible because let me tell you, because all these people are working for the factory.
yes.
They weren't slaves, meaning they
Mhm.
had choice to choose where to work,
Mhm.
right? So if they didn't want to work there, they could have worked in a farm.
So we have to really think about how we utilize the term slave, because of course slave would mean a compulsory job that someone is given to, so it's compulsory.
Okay.
But if your occupations are limited down to one, then choice becomes compulsory.
It's never possible to have only one choice. You
Sure,
always
sure,
have more choices when you
sure.
can move to another country, when you can simply apply for another company for another
Yes,
job. You have choice like that. There
yes.
even at that long time ago, people had choice.
Mhm.
They weren't slavery. They weren't bought, and that they weren't slavery. Simply, they really had choice. That
Sure.
was the best choice that they made. You know, earlier when we had a very first conversation, I mentioned a lot about the choice. Choice is what makes success,
Right.
right? So I have choice to work on something that just makes me feel good, but
Sure.
it may not bring much economical value. But I also have choice to work on something that may bring a lot of economical value, and it may even require less work. It depends on how I design. Then and so far I designed my path this way, and I'm working home. I'm making money online. I have a lot of free time. So that's how I design it. That's how I chose the path. But of course, I could have chose much better path as well. Of course, I didn't know everything, and I have made so many mistakes as well by choosing something wrong. That's
I've made much more than you, obviously.
also not choosing is also a choice.
um, yes, yeah, it is the
Yes.
choice, but it's a very indolent choice because you're not doing anything. So it's a
Yeah.
choice, but it's kind of just stagnant bullshit.
Yeah.
So
So back to the European countries, the workers, they had choice. Yeah, that's my answer. They had choice. That it was an unfair game. If they
sure, I mean,
wanted,
but of
they
course,
could have also built a factory, small factory.
as you know, though, some people have extraordinarily less choice than others. Let's use an example of Haiti.
Hmm. Hmm. Who
You're
is
familiar
Haiti?
with Haiti. Haiti is a country in Central America.
Oh, yeah, I know that
It's a
country. Yeah,
French
yeah,
colonization as well.
yeah.
It's connected to Dominican Republic.
Hmm.
There's an
Hmm.
island, and
Yeah,
then one
yeah.
side is
I
Haiti, and
know
one.
that country. Yeah.
So Haiti, you, it's virtually impossible to work your way out of poverty because they
Hmm.
get paid 50 cents per day.
Hmm.
So they have choice,
Hmm.
but their choices are infinitesimal to the point where they're always going to live in Haiti unless they really chance upon something magnificent.
Okay, then
So
I will ask you this. So why some Europeans came to America and Canada? Wasn't that their choice?
it was their choice.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. They believe that they could have better life there, right?
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah. So
So
they made a
people
choice.
no, at that time, um, you were at liberty to travel a long distance to another place, and if you went upon that land, yes, it was very scary because how are you going to get food? How are you going to
Yeah, a lot of
have
people
your
died.
domicile? A lot of people
Yeah.
died. So yeah, I mean, and that's very different. Maybe that's more difficult than someone from Haiti immigrating to the United States. But how do Haitians immigrate to the United States if they don't have the money? I mean,
Okay.
it
Well,
would
why
be,
should they only go to the United States? They can go somewhere else as
there's
well.
lots of
It's
places they
their
can go.
choice. Yeah.
Well, yeah, yeah, but it would be uh an insurmountable process.
Hmm.
Not insurmountable, but it would be very, very
Yeah.
difficult to do.
Yeah, yeah. Even the time in the past, the
Mhm,
Europeans who
mhm,
were working day and night, and
mhm,
just enough, getting paid just enough that they were able to feed themselves or to feed their family.
mhm,
The Yeah, so they wanted to have their own land, their own house. So I guess some of them decided to go to the US or unknown, like a totally unknown place. Um, and I mean, many Europeans kept coming to the US, right, for better life.
right, right.
Yeah, even after then. And also even Koreans went to the US after they heard about American Dream, and some of their relatives went to the U.S. much earlier when Korea was kind of poor, and they made success there. So we can always choose a location. That's what I believe in. We
Sure.
may not be right when it comes to the timing thing. It's hard to be precise when it comes to timing. I mean, Americans often say uh, uh, to be successful, the time has to be right and the location has to be right, right? So
Right.
I believe we can at least choose a location.
So what did your uncle do in Los Angeles?
Before he went to the US, he went to Japan, and he was there for 10 months.
Okay.
Um, and uh, wait, this should be like this. Okay. So, uh, so he went there. He went to Japan, and then the reason that he went there because he lost $30,000. One of his friends or somebody he met uh, uh, um, made a contract or something, and then the guy wrongfully stole my uncle's money,
Wow. Okay. Okay.
and he decided
Was
to
it a Korean or a
find this
Japanese?
Korean.
Korean in Japan.
No, in Korea, and he escaped
In
to
Korea.
Japan.
Oh, so your uncle went to Japan to look for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
Yeah,
God. And
yeah,
what was his plan? To knock all of his teeth out or
yeah. Just find
oh
this
he
guy
was
and then knock him down, and then, if possible, taking the money back. But he couldn't
was he
find
going to
him
get the
in
police
Japan.
involved or was he just going to go crazy and get
Go
violent?
crazy. He was the type of like a so like a man, like
Real
manly
tough
guy.
guy.
Like, yeah,
Tough guy.
we are tough
Okay.
guy. Yeah, he was real
Oh
tough
my
guy.
God.
He has a yeah. He
So that
wasn't
must have been a
anything.
really long time ago.
Yeah, probably 20 years ago or over
Okay.
20 years ago. Yeah,
Right, right.
yeah. And then he was, and so after spending 10 months in Japan, he was able to talk to any Japanese. Yeah,
He
he
was able
learned
to
Japanese.
he learned Japanese in 10 months?
Yeah, and I actually, to tell you that I think any Korean can learn Japanese pretty fast.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
grammatically the same language,
Right.
and
Right.
the way they put stress on a word,
Mhm.
it's almost the same. That it's so easy to predict,
Yes.
just by looking at what they are speaking and the gesture and things like that, and the sound. It's so
Yes.
familiar that
Mhm.
we can easily learn the language, and
Do you speak a
grammatically the
little bit
same.
of Japanese?
No, but I
No.
can
Okay.
say a few sentences, but no,
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
speak Japanese. But that it
Okay.
was pretty easy, even for me to learn Japanese. I was in Japan for 5 days with my
Uh,
Japanese friend in
uh,
Fukuoka, and
uh,
he taught me some Japanese.
mhm.
Like, it just came to me like so easy.
Okay.
It wasn't
Okay.
like English. English was to me like
So foreign.
so foreign. Nothing
Yeah.
is the same.
Yeah.
It's totally different structure.
Yes.
Totally different. Like, I can't even guess the meaning.
Right. Sure.
Now I can guess it because I have accumulated a lot of these English related things. So I
Mhm.
kind of guess it. But before, when I started learning, I couldn't even guess
Right.
anything.
Right.
But Japanese, I can kind of guess it, and I can kind of
Right.
mimic how they say,
Right.
and it sounds quite close.
Right.
So then he heard that my uncle heard that that the thief went to the U.S., and so he decided to go to the U.S. from Japan. So he went to
Look for him in
U.S.
the US.
Yeah.
Oh my. So I thought you were going to tell me, I thought you were going to say that when he was in Japan, he gave up and then went to the US as a second up, but he went to the US to look for him.
Yeah, look for him to beat him up.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
So he of course, he needed money, so he started looking for a job in the U.S. in LA. Of course, at that time, a lot of Koreans were stupid, so they didn't have much knowledge about English or anything. So just like my uncle, a lot of people just went to the U.S. without any knowledge
No
of
plan.
English or anything, no plan. Yeah, just like
Yeah.
I will go anyway. I will find my own American dream. Now many people are educated. They go there. Before they go there, they study enough and
Right.
make sure that they don't get humiliated or discriminated,
Humiliated.
because humiliated, yeah,
Yeah. Right.
or discriminated.
Right.
um but so the only place that he could establish was LA because of the Koreatown,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. Right.
So he was able to find other Koreans,
Uh-huh.
and he got helped, and he established a small business there, construction
Okay.
business.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. He hired like Mexicans and black people, and
Oh, really?
yeah, yeah.
So he must have developed his English pretty well.
So that's what I thought.
Uh-huh.
But then, even after spending 11 years in LA, he couldn't speak English.
Really? But he spoke
That's how,
Japanese
yeah, he spoke Japanese. Yeah,
and he learned it in 10 months.
yeah, yeah.
But he couldn't learn English.
He couldn't learn English because he didn't have
Interesting.
any knowledge about this, even the very basic grammar of the
Okay.
English, the
Right.
basic structure.
Right.
And he was already old,
Right.
being there. He was around early 30 when he went there.
Okay. Right.
And then when he came back to Korea, he was early, or yeah, early 40, like
Okay.
43 something.
Uh-huh.
But his children, especially his first daughter, she was born in Korea, and then
Uh-huh.
my uncle called his wife and the newborn baby, come to the U.S. I'm gonna be here, and so their family moved to the U.S. And that kid now, she can speak Korean fluent. She can speak English fluent, just like any
Your cousin.
American. Yeah, yeah, my cousin.
And where is she now?
I don't know. We haven't contacted for such a long time. I don't know exactly what they are doing, but I'm sure that
Really?
she's in college. Yeah,
In Korea or the
yeah, in
States?
Korea, in Korea.
In Korea. So they all
Yeah,
came back.
yeah, they all came back, but she can
Oh
still speak
my.
English just like American.
Wow.
But
So yeah,
and then the other baby was born in the U.S.
in the US.
and
Okay.
yeah, and that one spoke a little bit of Korean, but he mostly learned English. So he couldn't even speak Korean well. But then when he went back to Korea, um, he was like still elementary school.
Right.
And then he started living in Korea, adapting this Korean culture, learning
Mhm.
Korean, and then he became high school student. And I heard that he doesn't speak English at all.
He lost
Yeah,
it.
he lost it totally. And I think he was too
Oh
young, that he
my
learned
God.
English too early. And then after that, he didn't have any exposure to English.
Oh my. And he lost it.
He
And it's so
lost it.
crazy because he's a naturalized American citizen,
Yeah, I
but
think
he
so.
doesn't
Yeah.
speak English. Yeah, because he was born there. So he's naturalized.
But I guess because of I'm not quite sure, but because of the military,
Mhm.
he had to choose to be Korean or something to live in Korea.
Well, no, if in America the rule is, and this is Canada too, like if you're born in Canada, you
I know
want
what you are talking about.
you
But
100% have that
yeah.
validity.
But he started living in Korea, right? And then
Sure.
after that, he was only in Korea. So Korea, especially for the boys,
Mm,
the Korean government kind of says to those boys that you have to choose either to be Korean
sure.
or to be American.
Mhm.
And if you choose to be American, then you live here as a foreigner.
Right. Right.
Yeah, as Korean government doesn't give dual citizenship.
Right. Right. It's not
Yeah,
like those countries in that
yeah,
sense.
yeah,
Right. Right.
yeah. So same thing with Japan. So many
Mhm.
Americans who found Japan interesting and they established, they got married, and then when the time came, they had to decide to be either Japanese or American. So
Right.
some people chose to be Japanese and they
Mhm.
lost their American citizenship.
But they were, are you, but was their descent Japanese or was their descent
No,
American?
the American, the white
So,
American who grew up in the
um,
U.S.
you can't lose. That's not how Canada and America works. You can't lose it.
No, no.
Canada
Uh,
gives a dual and
I
it
know. The thing
right.
is this: Korea and Japan say
Mhm.
to foreigners, let's say let's say I'm not sure about you becoming Korean, but you becoming Japanese now.
Mhm.
The Japanese government will tell you that you first apply that you are going to lose your citizenship to your
Mhm.
country, then bring that paper to Japanese government, then apply for the Japanese citizenship with that paper, then we
Right.
will accept you.
Right.
That's how it works. So
Okay.
he had to lose his citizenship first. So he had
Mhm.
to submit the paper to the United
Okay.
States government that I'm going to give up my citizenship.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Because so I guess how it works, if you're going to have a duel, if you're Canadian and you want the duel, it would have to be a duel with a country that
Yeah. You have to find
relents to a
another
duel,
country. Yeah,
that relents to
exactly.
a duel, but if
Exactly.
Japan is unrelenting
No,
to a
yeah.
dual citizenship,
Yeah.
right? Okay, I see. Wow, wow.
Yeah.
That's definitely a negative, a negative segment
Yeah.
about Korea for sure, to not give them that
But
liberty.
there are conditions that you can have dual citizenships. There are conditions.
Mhm.
I think like a foreigner like you can easily have dual citizenships, but me as a Korean, let's say I didn't serve my country. I mean, I didn't go to the military yet,
Mhm.
the mandatory military. Then like the government says to me, you decide like you
Sure.
wanna be foreigner or you wanna be Korean.
Mhm.
But after I already served my country, in the military. So like now, the rule may be different to me, but yeah. So yeah,
How was your service?
uh, just like I described last time, it was like a prison.
Okay, but you described that, but you didn't give details about it, about what was like, because you said school was like prison too. So
Yeah,
how did it differ from school? What was
yeah. So I don't. I mean, I don't want to talk much about this subject.
Oh, it was really bad.
Um, um,
It was probably like
well,
me in the oil industry. I had a horrible time in the oil industry, working
yeah,
hard
I could
job
talk
and
more about the school, but the military thing, I don't want to talk about it.
okay, it was very, very difficult then,
I just can say it was like a prison.
like prison.
That's
Okay,
how I can
yes,
describe.
yes,
Yeah,
right, right,
yeah,
yes. Yeah, I mean those things. those things are that
It's
is
like you give up a certain
Mhm.
period of time of
Sure,
yours,
sure.
yeah, for someone else basically.
Mhm.
And
Right.
then yeah, worse
So you
worse
think
than
that Korea should eradicate that system from the country?
I have no opinion on that because that's not what I can decide, and that's not as well as I just don't have any opinion like what's the right answer. It
Sure,
seems
sure.
like we need it, but at the same time, uh, there might be a way to reduce people and
Mhm.
more like like by using new technology.
Right,
Uh, but then it I have no idea. Like
right,
I don't know. Like I'm not expert in military, so
right,
I don't have
right,
clear idea.
right. I guess you're kind of indicating that the world is not stable enough to have those systems eradicated, that every nation needs to have some segment of military in
You
order to
know,
defend themselves.
I wanna add something to that.
Mhm.
uh, a lot of people hate capitalism, but when I think about the positive side of capitalism, is that because of capitalism, because everyone focuses on gaining more capital throughout their life, they don't really think about killing other people. They don't think
Right.
about occupying another country. They don't
Mhm.
think about occupying like a neighbor's house.
Mhm.
Uh, um, so like just we went through the brutal school life,
Mhm.
and we understand that how human beings are when there's no capital incentive.
Mhm.
What was your school life like? It was all about the strength, the
Yes.
physical strength,
Yes.
simply make anyone like a king
Mhm.
in school, right? And
Yes.
nobody's working for money basically in
Right.
school, right?
Right. Right.
Everybody's working and for the strength, and then strength is the most valuable capital
Yes.
being in school.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is
So
very
the
similar to an American prison because the strongest person
yeah.
has sex with all the other men.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
my brother
So
always jokes that if he ever went to an American prison, he said the first thing I would do is he said I would find the strongest person in the jail and then I would give him a blowjob.
what the
That's what he said. Yeah.
okay. I think wait, because I have to put the P on what you just said.
All right. Oh, this is
Yeah,
recorded.
I've been
Oh.
recording.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
I divided section by putting the number here.
Oh, right, right. Yes,
So I can
definitely,
easily
definitely beep.
find where to cut.
Definitely beep that. Right. Definitely, definitely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I wasn't recording.
Yeah, but it's okay because I'm
Okay.
recording here.
Because you're recording. Okay. Great,
Yeah.
great.
So
Okay.
I can
Okay.
still use this video of yours.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. Yes.
So yeah, so when we are not motivated to gain
Mhm.
any
Mhm.
capital, we focus on beating other people, and then we focus on taking other people's uh, um, uh, goods,
Right.
and yeah, so that's what the human beings did in the past, uh, before we didn't have any incentive, capital
Mhm.
incentive.
Mhm.
Yeah, just like school, the whole world is gonna be like a school.
Right. Right. Right.
And then
Right. That.
in that situation, I would probably team up with some strong guys. And then we have to find a place to conquer, and
Right.
where there are many women.
Right. Well, it's funny when you mention about teaming up with other people. I always
Yeah.
found that was a weakness in people's temperament. If when
Mhm.
they team up with other people, it's
Yeah.
because
Then
they
otherwise I will
feel
get beaten by you.
well. Exactly. But people,
Yeah.
but whether it's for violence or whether it's for any portion of society, when people feel like that, like there's an imperative to join other people, they do it to survive, kind
Yeah.
of.
Yeah. They do it to
So, but
survive.
sometimes
Their
there
way
could be
to
good
survive.
reasons,
Yeah.
but many times there's bad reasons why they do it. They
Uh-huh.
do it to